Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a blue chair with some flowers on it. We're going to show you step by step how to do it from start to finish. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's in chat today for our live show, so if you've got questions, you can ask those and I'll try to answer them. Let's get started. Alrighty, so I'm going to be using a 9 by 12 inch canvas today. This is the Fredrix mixed media canvas board. I've already coated it with a burnt umber, kind of a light coat, just about maybe that much in the middle there. Sprayed it with water and then just spread it around just to give us a tone for the background of our canvas to get us started. Gives us kind of a head start. And I'm going to be using a variety of brushes. As I use them, I'll mention them, but I've got just a few like different sizes of flat brushes. Bright are the shorter, so this is a flat with the longer. This is a bright with the shorter. This one's a bright as well. So I've got the Princeton Aspen series and some Princeton Dakota. These two are Dakota. They're similar to the Aspen, but they're not quite as thick. The fibers aren't as thick. They're firm though, like the Aspen. So I wanted sort of like firmer brushes today for most of this because I want to do a lot of dry brushing and textural effects on the chair. There's a lot of like chip paint and things. So the heavier brushes, thicker brushes, or more firm brushes, that's the word I'm looking for. Firmer brushes are going to do that better for us. I've also got a couple of the Velvet Touch blenders and angle brushes and a couple small rounds, and then a select Deerfoot stippler for some of the background. So I decided as I was looking this over and trying to decide what colors to use and everything, I was kind of figured out, since we're painting this live and I never know exactly how it's going to go, I always try to kind of figure out ahead of time as much as I can what colors I'm going to use and that kind of thing. So I think since this is kind of part of our chair series, and we did part 1 of our chair series last week or the week before with this one here, and it was very simple. It's part of our beginner series, so it was a very simple image, and if you haven't checked this out in your beginner, I would say this one is probably a really good one to learn dry brushing and things like that. Anyhow, so what I'm going to do is simplify this one so that if you're doing these together, they're going to kind of have a similar style. So we're going to simplify this one quite a bit today, especially the background area, because there's a lot of leaves and different things, a door back here and everything. And I just decided, I think I'm just going to go ahead and do the whole thing, kind of a solid background, kind of like this one is, but have some texture to it. So we'll do something similar to this in our background on this. All right, and let's go over our colors. So I've got carbon black, burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow oxide, cadmium yellow medium, phthalo green yellow shade, cobalt teal, phthalo blue green shade, ultramarine blue, dioxazine purple, quinacridone magenta, unbleached titanium, titanium white, and this is gloss glazing liquid. And I'm also going to be using the fluid titanium white when I do my flowers, because it'll just make it a little bit easier to do those little small flowers, daisies, or actually I think they're chamomile, which I'm allergic to. Mark was so sweet, he got me some Valentine's tea and it had chamomile in it, and he didn't realize. So
we got a lot of potpourri right now.
Yeah. Even just trying to pick the chamomile out of it, my throat started closing up on me. And yeah, so I'm like, no, I definitely can't drink it. Okay. Sorry, that was a side note there. Probably didn't need to know that.
Well, just in case people are going to send you a whole bunch of chamomile.
Right, yeah. Like if they see this and they're like, that must be her favorite flower. No.
Maybe we don't want to tell your enemies.
Yeah. Okay. So I really like the color of this like weathered door that's in the background. So I think that's the color that I'm going to do for a background. It's got just a tiny bit of the teal in it in some of the highlights. But the main color is this kind of plum purple aubergine color, and I really like it. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that for the entire background here. Maybe do just like a slight bit. I don't know. I think I'm just going to do the whole thing. I kind of, part of me wants to do it like it's in the photograph, but I think that if you're going to be doing this with that other one, it's going to look better if this one's more simplified in the background, because that one is so simple. If this one's too busy, they're not going to look like they go together. So, all right. So I'm going to grab the purple. I've got a palette knife here. I'm just going to use that. So I'm going to grab a fairly good amount of purple, but I'm also going to kind of mix up some purple. So I'm going to grab my Phthalo Blue and my Quinacridone Magenta in kind of equal parts. Probably going to need a little bit more magenta than the blue, because the blue is so strong. It's got probably a higher tinting strength than the Quinacridone Magenta. I think Phthalo Blue is one of those colors that when you're mixing it with other colors, you really need to use very little of it because it's going to take over whatever it's mixed with. Okay, so there's kind of more of a blue purple. This is the full-on regular purple. And then I'm going to use some of the, what color is this? Burnt Sienna, thank you. Burnt Sienna with my magenta and purple, and make kind of a violet brown neutral purple. The orange in the burnt sienna, the orange tones in the burnt sienna will kind of neutralize this and make it more, it neutralizes the blue in the purple that's in the purple, and we'll make it more earthy. There's a pretty color in it. Okay. I think I'm going to also mix up some purple with my Ultramarine Blue. Why not? And we're just going to use all these different kind of purple tones in our background. So right.
Say hello to everybody.
Yeah. Hey guys.
Welcome.
Hope you're having a good Saturday, staying warm. We had snow last week, so we had to cancel our Tuesday show because the electric company was threatening to turn off our power if we didn't conserve. Mm-hmm. So we were like, well, show, heat. Probably. These lights do use up a lot of energy. We've got tons of lights in here.
The lights and the computer and the router
cameras
and
all that stuff. All right, so we got different purples here. So this one you can see is more of the kind of reddish. I can add a little bit more of the burnt or the ultramarine blue if I want it more bluish. But I like all of those. Looks good. This one's more of a brighter purple than this one with the phthalo blue green shade, because the green and the magenta counteract each other just a little bit. The ultramarine blue is closer to purple already, so it's got those reddish tones in it, and it's not got the green tones in it that would counteract the red in the magenta that's opposite on the color wheel. So that's why this one's a little bit more neutral. This one's a little bit brighter. All right. I'm going to grab some white and just use what's on my left on my brush here, or not my brush, my palette knife here, and mix that in. I'm going to grab some of this and mix it up with that too.
And that sound you heard was Angela spraying her paints.
Yes, I spray my paints to keep them moist as I'm working. I think these are so bright that I'm probably going to be adding a little bit of the burnt umber to them too. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I need to be careful though, because I have this white in here. I don't want it to affect the dark. Wipe this off. Going to use up a lot of paper towels when you work with palette knife, I find. So just a tiny bit of burnt umber is just going to kind of bring that purple down into more of a neutral, more natural looking purple. And really the door color is kind of more of this reddish color, so I may not be using a lot of that blue toned purple. We'll see as we get going. But ultramarine blue and burnt umber together make a gray, so basically we're just graying out this purple here. That's all we're doing. And I'm going to go ahead and use ultramarine, or the burnt umber with the straight purple here, almost 50-50. Okay. And I think I'm going to go ahead and mix up the purple and the magenta over here with burnt umber. So we've got a violet. This is going to be my violet purple. The magenta brings that purple up to a more violet, reddish. Look at all those pretty purples. Well, this is a good lesson for learning how to mix purple. So maybe somebody wanted to know that today. Who knows?
I am not one of those.
You're not. Okay, well,
But maybe there is one person out there.
I'm going to start with this color. Yeah, that's going to be... So the magenta and purple is going to make a really nice purple. That's pretty close to the color that I'm seeing in this background. So I'm going to use quite a bit of that. And just, I've already drawn on my chair here, so I'm just going to kind of go around what I drew. Just save us time. This is our bonus video weekend, so I'm going to be painting tomorrow for about 3-4 hours, probably maybe longer, who knows. We're painting a lioness and cub. So I try to keep the Saturday video before the bonus video, today's video, a little bit shorter if possible, because just to save my arm. I have tendonitis issues if I paint too much in a row, too many days in a row. All right, let's go ahead and get some of this darker purple now. And I'm just going to go around. I'm probably going to have to use a brush too, but I want to get a little bit of this texture in here, so I'm using the palette knife just to get a little bit more texture in this paint. And if you did the other chair video, we used the palette knife for the background in that one too. And I'm just scraping up a little bit of paint on the back side of this knife, and just setting it down and kind of scraping across, and then just sort of rubbing it in and trying to create textures. Just interesting shapes and things happening in the background. That's all we're doing. All right, let's take the next color, purple. Here, more blue color. Just gonna use a little bit of that. And I'm keeping to the darker colors. I'm gonna lay down the dark first, and then we'll go back over all of this with our lighter colors to just kind of brighten it up. But I want it to be fairly dark to start with. And I'm just gonna go over this area where my flowers are going to be, so I don't have to worry about going around those, because we're going to be painting in all of that. So let's go ahead but make sure that I get this dark color all back in here behind my chair, and I'm going to have to paint in between my slats too, so I'm going to need to save a little bit of this when I get to going with my chair. I'll save some of this purple here, one of these colors, so that I can do some of it down here in between my chair slats, but I don't need to do it right now. If I do it right now, I'm just going to cover over all this. My palette knife is not going to be careful enough to get down in there. You could leave this brown off. You could just do purple in the background if you wanted to. You didn't have to do this burnt umber in the background, but it is going to be nice to have this color kind of peeking through. It's a lighter color. It's going to give it just another layer of, interest to our painting. So it's up to you whether you want to do the burnt umber in the background or not, but I think it works well with that purple. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. I'm just going to kind of tap into this light purple here and just start kind of creating some movement. I'm kind of doing these vertical lines, sort of like the door, the kind of lines that I'm seeing in the door. You can do it however you want to, but there we go. Looks good. Don't do too much of this color because this is going to be kind of our bright highlight color. I grabbed some of this more reddish color here and added it to get some of the more blue.
The tinging of those palette knives over there is making me hungry.
Why?
It sounds like somebody's eating over there.
Oh, yeah. Like forks on a plate.
Forks and knives,
Forks and knives.
Like, oh, there's food. Oh, no,
your body's like,
no, it's just paint.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat this.
No.
I wouldn't recommend it. I didn't think about that, but yeah, now that you say that, I can hear it. I hear it. Okay, making sure I get down all these areas, and I'm going to go over the top of my chair legs and my borders just a little bit here so that I make sure that that color goes all the way up to those lines and doesn't have this weird halo around it where the color stops just before the next color starts, you know what I mean? It looks weird when you do that. So
plus I may sing that song.
Halo? Please not. Okay, got a little too much purple there, but that's okay. We're just gonna cover over it. I'm gonna get some of this. I'm gonna flip this around. Get right up to this. This is all gonna be flowers, but I'm gonna go ahead and get right up to it just in case I don't cover all of this up. So we can see the purple through our flower branches and things if we okay. That's good. I'm probably going to have you take this and dry it for me, hon.
Okay.
First, let's go ahead and add a little bit of turquoise. I'm going to grab some of the turquoise and white and use my palette knife. And this I'm going to be very, very sparing with. Just a few places. Okay, let you take that. It's looking good so far. Clean that off. If you have a palette knife that the paint has dried on, and you know, you've been working and you just haven't been able to get all the paint off of it before it dries, you can take some rubbing alcohol. I've got some here if I can grab it. And it'll scrape right off. It actually, rubbing alcohol also works well with brushes. If you've got dried paint in your brushes or on clothes, it can help get that paint out. Just be careful you don't leave it soaking in your brushes too long, because it can also dissolve your glue that holds your brushes together. So don't want that. Oops. Oh, goodness. All right, let me wash my hands off. I really like this turquoise and purple. It's not really a color color combo that I would normally gravitate towards, but I really think it works well. It's really pretty together. And then that little pop of yellow with that purple, the yellow in the flowers with that purple is going to really be a nice complementary color for the purple. They're opposite on the color wheels, purple and yellow. So they always will be a interesting pairing. One thing I would say, if you're going to be using opposites on the color wheel though, that one rule of thumb to remember is to, if you will tone down one of the pair. So in this case, our yellow is bright, is like straight out of the tube yellow. So our purple is going to be more muted and more neutral, and that makes them not so harsh. If we had, purple that was too in your face, bright, then with the yellow, it would clash almost. Okay. Like sports jerseys are often Lakers colors,
Yuck.
I know, Mark's not a Lakers fan. My dad's a Lakers fan. Hi, Dad. Okay. So I think I want to get in here and do something with the brown areas, but I think let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and get in here and do something with these brown. I think I'm just going to kind of glaze over this whole thing with a color, and I'm not really sure what color to use, so I'm kind of thinking here. I'm going to grab some of the purple. I think I want to use this more reddish. Yeah. Get some glaze. Got a little bit of the lighter color mixed in here. Just want to kind of change the tone just a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of brush over. It's just really not a glaze because that paint's too thick. The glaze would be transparent, fully transparent. This because I've got that white in it, this is more like a scumbling almost. I'm just rubbing this in to kind of get, you see how it's kind of just toning everything down just a little bit and kind of blending it all together slightly. That's what I'm going for. Just kind of going to make everything a little bit more harmonious. And then I'm just using the paper towel to wipe off the extra so that that color just mainly gets down in between here and gets into those brown areas that are kind of bothering me. This also with the brush kind of helps me get down into these cracks between the chair and the background so that I've got that color all the way up to that edge of the chair. Okay. Good. All right, so let me use use a round brush. This is too round in the Dakota.
Okay, I'll let you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. It was nice of you to ask.
Did I ask?
Well, you said let me use.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, I'll let you.
You let me. Thanks. Appreciate it. And I'm just going to go between the slats there in that dark area that's between the chairs. And I can kind of get some of the other color to blend in there just so that it's not just that one solid color. Oops, that's not what I want to change right here. Okay. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and work on my chair, and then we'll see if this background, if I like it once we get the chair done. I feel like it's maybe a little too bright. That color in the photograph is more of a neutral, so I might have gone a little too purple with this color, but we'll see. I'll just get the chair on there, and we can adjust we've got the texture on there pretty well, so we can adjust that. Actually, though, while I'm doing this, I think I'm going to grab a little bit more of this turquoise and use it just right in here. Or in that area where it's just a lot of the same color purple. Okay, here we go. A lot of this is going to be flowers in here too, so it's not gonna be solid. All right, so I'm going to grab the 6 bright here. I might need the 4 bright too. Let me see if I can find that. And this chair is really pretty much the cobalt teal color with a little bit of white here and there. So I'm going to go ahead and use it to sort of base it out, get a little bit of the white here. And cobalt teal is, you can kind of mix it with phthalo blue and phthalo green plus white, something similar at least. It comes out to be a teal color that'll work. So if you don't have this exact color, you can grab those and mix it yourself. Okay, so I'm gonna go across here. And I'm going to go ahead and do it so that a little bit of that brown shows through. That's why I did that brown underneath, because I knew it was going to look good with this teal color as a base. So oops, I think I went a little too high there. Okay. I'm gonna take off that top area right there. I brought that up a little too high. Just use the edge of my brush I could use a ruler. I could use tape here if you want to make sure that you get a really straight edge, but I'm actually kind of leaving the edges sort of slightly fuzzy, so not going for a solid coverage since this chair is kind of old and weathered. Just kind of putting the paint on this way where it's a little bit blotchy will give that effect. And we can always go back in and add highlights, or if it looks bad, we can fix it, but I think that'll be good. To start, get a little bit more here. Oops. Okay. It goes to here. Oh, that's not too bad. Just using the edge of my brush there. If you use that edge, you've got, this much of it that's already flat and straight. So if you just kind of use that, you can keep yourself fairly straight just by kind of keeping that edge against the side there. I'm going to kind of pull it in from the outside, kind of like we did with the chair where we pulled a little texture. Okay, that's good. And then I'm going to get a little bit more of the darker and do the inside of this just slightly darker. There's just a little tiny bit of it showing in front of this where it attaches, and then down below. All of this is going to be covered by flowers, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of put it in here anyways, just like we did the background here. Just it'll make it so we don't have to paint around anything later when we do our flowers. We'll have it there. We could just paint wherever we want to. Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit darker now down here. And then the top part there has got some highlighting just above it. There we go. There's a little bit of this dark purple in between right here. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that in. What's the matter?
Can't find my mouse.
Okay.
Somebody was asking about your brush washer there, so I was telling them what it was and
I
giving
have it
them
on my
the link.
Amazon store.
Okay, Amazon, and there's also, you can get it from Blick too.
Right. I got mine from Blick, but they did. I just found it on Amazon too, so I've added it
Well,
to the Amazon shop.
use the links down below, support the channel.
Yeah. If you
No
want
extra cost.
Nope. All right. Get a little bit of the unbleached titanium and burnt umber. And go along this top edge here. Now that it's dry. And just sort of touch it along the edge. Seeing a little bit of chipped paint up there. And also kind of along the side of the chair. Just a little bit. And we've already kind of got a sort of rough coverage here, so this will just help. We can put it along that edge that is sticking out towards us there. And I'm going to get a little bit of the darker, get a little bit of this darker blue that's got the phthalo blue in it with my teal. Or I can actually, let's just go ahead and mix up a dark teal, and then we'll use that for our shadow. So get a little bit of the phthalo green and phthalo blue here. And add some burnt sienna. Okay, so if we want it more blue than green, we can add a little bit more of the phthalo blue over here. Okay. So I'm just going to get a little bit of that color. And I have some water on my brush, so it's kind of thinned it out just a little bit. I'm just going to use it and tap there where that chair is attached and just below. And I want to go darker than that. I'm going to get a little bit on the corner of my brush here and just touch right there. Just a really dark little bit. Okay, now it looks like it's darker there. And let's go ahead and use this dark. I'm going to like lay my brush flat and just tap, tap along that, leaving spaces and kind of creating some chipped paint on kind of the bottom of that chair edge. Let's do a little bit on this side of it. By setting my brush flat, it helps it not to go on too, it creates that chipped paint look. Because it's only touching just parts of the brush. It's not going to pull off the whole bit. Go along that edge there. And then let's go ahead and add some down here too. All right. Let's keep moving here. What were you laughing at?
Nathan's new buddy.
Nathan got a new cat? What?
Named Thor.
Thor. Oh my gosh, our son got a new cat. So he's got a white cat and a black cat now. So he called him Salt and Pepper. My brother has cats named Frank and Beans. They're brothers.
See, now you got me singing that song.
What song? Salt and pepper.
Sugar.
Okay.
Though I do it better.
You're in a weird mood today.
I'm in the Mark mood.
You're in the Mark mood.
And weird, yes, that's synonymous.
Weird is synonymous with it. Okay.
Look it up in the dictionary. There's a picture of me.
Okay. Going with a little bit of the darker cobalt, just straight up cobalt teal here. And I'm just going to kind of pull it up on this, especially on the inside here, just a little bit. Darken it up a little bit, and then there's a little bit of the back leg here that's attached. It's kind of a folding chair, so the back leg is attached up here. And I don't see where I'm sure it's kind of something like this. I don't know. It's all behind the greeneries back here, so all we're seeing of it is just like this little bit right here. And everything else is under the greens. I'm sure this comes all the way over here too. But like I said, all of this is covered up by the greenery, so I'm not going to worry about it.
Would it be considered a shrubbery?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's flowers. So, what is that from? Is that a Monty Python?
Yes.
Yeah. It sounded familiar. Okay. Chip paint here. Just going to use the edge of my brush here and just going to smush it around. I kind of put it on thick and then I'm just kind of smushing it around in some places. There to move it. Got a little bit of both colors, the cobalt teal and the turquoise here in my brush for this front edge right here. And I'm going to go dark right here. Let's see. And then get that cobalt teal and tap it in very lightly right there where it's connecting to the darker turquoise, and just drag it so my brush is really almost flat to the surface, so that it's just dragging. And this is where that more textured brush comes in handy, because if you've got a smoother brush with the bristles that are like, all together and very smooth, they are going to paint more smoothly, whereas this brush has got a little bit of texture to it, so it's going to skip a little bit. It's gonna, those bigger bristles will grab onto any texture on my surface of the canvas and skip over them, so I get that little bit more skipping.
Got a question about the paint color.
Okay.
The person would like to know, what is the difference between teal and cobalt teal?
They're very, very similar. The teal was kind of the substitute for cobalt teal for a while. Apparently cobalt teal was was hard to come by, or whatever the materials that they used for it were. So these are the two. So Golden wasn't using the wasn't producing cobalt teal for a while. They did for a while, then it stopped, and they used teal only, and then they went back to doing both. So, but they're almost identical, so you can use them interchangeably. Teal looks like it may be a little bit more slightly blue. This one's a little bit more of green, a green turquoise, maybe. But that's, you know, just tiny difference. All right, so I'm going to do the top part here. I'm going to get a little bit more of the white, lighter color, but I still have that darker color in my brush too. So I've got kind of both. And I'm just going to drag it on here and try, and I'm kind of dabbing too as I brush so that it's skipping around a little bit as well. We're going to be adding other things on top, but you know, if I can get it close here, then I won't have to do as much later to get that kind of chipped paint look. But you can see what it's doing. Very similar to what we did in the background too. You know, we're just kind of letting the canvas texture. And this canvas is very low texture. So if you've got a canvas that has more texture than what I've got going on with this one, it'll actually work a little bit better. I'm going to get a little bit of the unbleached titanium with my burnt umber here. Adding a little bit chipped light brown. And just take your time with this. It's fun. Don't put on too much paint too quickly. That's what'll kind of overwhelm it. You gotta kind of go slow with this and just sort of let the randomness happen.
So somebody asked about the color chart.
I can use my
I know that you've offered like a template for one.
Yeah.
And we recommend that you make your own with the paints that you have, because even though they say the same thing on the tube, each batch can be slightly different.
It can be, and that way you know how your colors relate to each other.
Right.
I do have the and also the printout. You know, if you've tried to print it out, it's not going to print the exact right colors. You know, your printer and your monitor is going to be different.
Right.
So you're really not gonna
get the true colors.
Right. Exactly. It's not going to be exact. So you can get an idea.
Cindy wouldn't be happy.
What?
Said Cindy wouldn't be happy.
Who's Cindy?
The true colors wouldn't be shining through. I am keeping you on your toes today.
Mm-hmm.
But thanks for the... I could feel the love.
I don't know why I asked. That's my is like, why did I ask? I knew better. Stupid. Okay. Moving on.
I cracked myself up, that's for sure. Don't mind me over here.
Don't leave mean comments about my husband, please. I know.
We know.
We know.
It's just, there's nothing that can be done about it. I'm just making up for the fire shaming that went on this week.
Mark decided that because we're having winter snowpocalypse outside, that we probably ought to conserve our wood to make sure that we didn't run out in case we lost power. So we didn't get a fire the whole time. The whole time it was snowing and all wintry, and we were all bundled up inside because we turned the air down to 65 in the house to conserve heat, conserve electricity.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And I finally complained yesterday. I was just like, seriously, are we past it now? Like, can we please have a fire?
Such fire shaming.
I know, really. Like my gosh.
But the survival mode in me kicked in.
It's like my favorite thing about winter. Give tap fires. It's like all snowy outside. We're all freezing in the house.
Okay, so I'm sad that I just thought about this, but next time I'm going to put the TV in the fireplace and just run a video of a fire.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then maybe things will be better.
I don't know.
No?
I don't think it's the same. Don't think it's the same.
That's the thing, though, nowadays.
I know.
So anyways, while we're talking about stupid things, Angela's just painting along.
Yeah, I'm just doing the burnt umber here. Cobalt teal, burnt umber. And they're all the same, basically. I'm just kind of skipping around colors here, not doing anything different. Just kind of doing my slats now with this cobalt teal. And I'm leaving the side here yet. I'm going to come back and do those. Another color with a darker turquoise. So I'll do these top ones first. And again, just kind of skip it a little bit. You can see how fun this is. It's not, I don't really feel like it's very difficult to get this look. It really isn't. It just takes a slow hand and a light touch. You just kind of just finesse it. Don't press down too hard. Don't put down too much paint too quickly. Just kind of light brush strokes. And if you do too much, well, you can always go back in and, cover it up later or whatever, or add other colors. It's not the end of the world. So I'm just going to use my finger to smudge it here. Just kind of use that dark color where it attaches there to the end of the chair. And let's go ahead and use whatever's dark left over in my brush here to do the side slat. It's just the part of the slat that's kind of facing us so we can see from the side. And then there is a little bit of the back of the chair kind of showing through back here. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of the turquoise in between in this purple area down here. Just a little bit of it. It's just that dark area that's kind of underneath where, these are attached to the board here. So it's this part down here that we're seeing that's in between there. It's... Well, hopefully our Texans watching were able to stay warm. I was really sad to hear about all the power outages and people even dying out down there in Texas from this storm. It's all fun to joke about it, but it's definitely hearts go out to our neighbors down in Texas that we're definitely struggling life and death there. I think that was part of Mark's reason for doing the wood. I understand. Even if I was complaining, I knew he had good reasons. So,
hey, real quick, what brush are you using?
This is the 6 Bright. I would have been glad to have the wood saved if we needed it. We were very fortunate not to lose our power, though. It was a touch and go for a while there. I definitely thought we might. We got down lower than I've ever had it. I mean, I don't think we've lived here almost 30 years, and I don't remember it ever being this cold, ever. or having this much snow on the ground at one time
Yeah,
that stayed for as long as it has. You know?
I think -3 was the coldest we've seen here.
Unreal.
But growing up in New Hampshire, there were times when we had no power and used the wood stove to stay warm.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you have your first winter when you moved from Southern California up to New England? What kind of winter gear did you have?
I had Ked sneakers and no jacket.
Okay, so your survival skills were pretty spot on.
I had canvas sneakers that the snow just went straight through. I mean, I've never been that cold in my life. I went from Palm Springs in the desert to Boston in
the winter.
In the winter. Yeah, we moved in the summer, and by that first fall, you know, yeah, I was like, holy crap. I think I got a jacket around Christmas time. And yeah, we were just talking about that, actually, my dad and I, about that house and how we used to, it was the house we rented, a house that overlooked, we weren't in Boston, we overlooked it on a little island, and it was a summer house for somebody, whoever rented it to us, and so it wasn't winterized. It didn't have the you know, insulation or anything. The whole front of the house was all like windows, and and so I mean, it was freezing even inside with the wind with the heat going full blast. We would just sit over the radiator with our gloves and our winter jackets, and just like, yeah, we were definitely culture shock there. I was like, oh, we are not in the desert anymore. Okay, adding some highlights here, just with the lighter color, just pulling out these front areas here to, sorry, I'm talking about snow and not telling you what I'm doing.
And for those like our Canadian friends where it was like -30 something, I mean, it's one thing when you're used to it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like the people down south. There's air conditioning, central, air conditioning. So during the summer when it gets hot, it's not a big deal. But the people up north, they don't usually have central air conditioning. So if they get a heat wave, it's really bad for them.
Right.
But vice versa. I mean, they have all the winter gear and stuff to survive cold weather. Well, down here,
we don't have.
It doesn't happen.
Our roads don't get cleared. Our road in front of our house is just a slush puddle right now because it doesn't. We live in a outside city limits, so we're not getting any. I think city road clearing. They probably have one truck for the entire town. I'm not kidding.
There's one truck that's used for the whole state of Arkansas.
Yeah, exactly.
We get 5 days out of the year, which in June, so we can use it. Use a snowplow.
Yeah.
And made Angela grab the handles on the truck yesterday.
Mark was trying to do donuts in the snow. Not fun. Not fun. It's not funny. Bad.
Well, I had to turn around so we could go get our food.
Yeah, no. Not that fast. He was going to flip the truck over. If I hadn't been holding on, I'm the only thing that was holding the truck up. Pretty sure.
The fishtail lasted for a whole 0.8 seconds.
Not my life flashed before my eyes. Like I'm too young to go this way.
Remember that parking lot next to Salem, to the McDonald's we met at?
Uh-huh.
I mean, we used to go out there and do fishtails in our cars.
On purpose.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Blue,
good.
turquoise. I'm making a little bit brighter shadow here, color, and I'm just going to glaze over some of this area. Yeah. No.
Rear-wheel drive 74 Mustang.
No, it's
does
okay.
really good in the snow.
Oh, I bet. least we're painting flowers today. Makes it feel a little bit warmer. Even though the colors are a little bit cold. I'm on the fence. What does the audience think about this color? Is it too purple?
No, I haven't seen any complaints about it.
Let's get an opinion.
Yeah, actually, they want it Celtic green.
What?
They want it Celtic green.
No.
Much better color. Okay, we gotta love the purple.
You love it? Okay. I don't think I need to tone it down more brown.
Love it. Love it.
Okay. Okay. See, I'm not a purple person. I don't tend to.
We got 1, 2 purple. Gotta love the purple. Gotta love it. Love the background. I think we said earlier that we weren't going to put the fence in just to keep it simplified, right?
The fence, the door.
Or
you mean?
the door in the
Yes.
back. Yeah.
No, we're gonna, because I'm trying to match it up to this painting here, so that they kind of go together. Even though the colors are different, but they'll have the same style. So I decided to simplify this one so that it's got a similar feel. Okay, so we're doing good on time. It's only 3, so we've gone an hour. We're almost done with our chair here, and we can do our flowers. If we leave the background, then I can go let Mark play video games early.
Yeah.
I think I might do just a little bit more, but not much. I kind of feel like maybe making it a little bit more of that reddish purple and maybe adding more of the turquoise. But I think we'll know more when I get the flowers on. I feel like the flowers will, or at least, actually I probably need to do it before I do the flowers though, because it'll be easier to, I won't be able to paint around it when I get the flowers on. All right, so the consensus, the majority say leave it, or we had a couple people say they didn't like the purple, too purple, but
We
the
had
rest
one
said-
person that said it.
see, I'm kind of with them, but I will go with the majority vote.
You could paint a fire in the background. Somebody suggested.
I like that person. Who's that? They deserve a shout out.
And somebody said maybe some more teal in the background.
Yeah, that's what I think the teal would help. Mm-hmm. Who said the fire?
Christina.
Christina. Good one, Christina. I didn't think about that. I could have pulled out my painting of the campfire. We could just prop that up in the corner. Good thinking, Christina. I'll remember that next time I'm cold. Maybe that'll help.
I'm telling you, I'm just going to put the TV in the fireplace and be done with
It's
it.
all right. Although I've been reading a lot, so I haven't been really watching TV anyway. So, although we found a one of those home shows. By the way, hello. Can we just have a moment of thank you for Chip and Joanna being back? My favorite show ever. Mm-hmm. They're awesome, and yeah. So we've been watching the Fixer Upper. We actually got Discovery Plus just so we go. That's how big of fans we are.
Yeah. The Welcome Home.
Welcome Home. Fixer Upper show is back. So we've been watching that.
Nothing against all the other people who were couples renovating houses.
I know.
That try to fill the void. But
They did. There's a couple from Arkansas that we've been watching. I can't remember the name of the show. What is it? I can't think of it.
Hold on, let me Google it.
But we should know their names because they say their full names all the time. I can't all the time.
Yeah, you complained about it yesterday.
That's a little bit annoying, but they're good. They're up in Bentonville where my son lives. That area of Arkansas. So they're neighbors.
Fixer to Fabulous.
Fixer to Fabulous.
And it's Dave and Jenny. Come on, you can say it.
I don't remember. I should, because they say it like 12,000 times during the show.
Dave Mars.
Mars. Yeah, thank you.
So if you're watching, hi, Dave, Jenny. We like your show.
David. Yeah, we do. We've been enjoying that. It's been fun seeing places that we know on the show. What'd you say it was called? Fixer to Fabulous?
Yes.
Yeah. I like our style too.
Yeah,
it makes me want to redo our house that we just redid last year. Or like, it's like, oh man, I wish I'd done that.
But more importantly, one of the shows they went and they got coffee at Onyx Coffee.
Yeah.
There.
No, it wasn't Onyx. It was right next to. No, it wasn't. What? Go
It
ahead.
was a different episode.
Oh,
You weren't
okay.
there. It was the episode where the two girls were moving back from New York.
I see.
And they went to Onyx Coffee because she liked the style
Mark's favorite
inside.
coffee.
Yeah, so shout out to Onyx if you want to sponsor. Love your coffee. I literally
We're
have
all over the place today.
literally have a t-shirt.
Yeah, he does. He likes it that much.
And they also walked right past our favorite crepe place.
Yes, Crepes Paulette. Again, it's fun watching a show where we recognize.
Sorry, anybody who came here to learn about painting
I know.
today.
Yeah, we're just talking about other stuff. Okay.
We've been cooped up in the house for 4, 5, 6 days.
Nobody else to talk to. Oh, gosh. It's bad. It's bad. Yeah, Mark's been home all week from working from home.
Yep.
It's like we really need to talk your boss into letting you do that at least once a month. It's pretty nice having you home all week, I have to say. All right, so there we go. We've got our weathered chair. I can probably, let's go back through here and add some more, little bits and bobs of, I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and use this one. This is the 1/4-inch blender. This will give us some good, textural little things happening. Let me get some burnt umber and unbleached titanium here to get kind of a light brown color. And right in here, there's some bits, and then I'm just going to use my finger and kind of tap it out. So,
Can you mix a teal?
yes, you mix these two together. Phthalo blue, phthalo green, plus white. That's what teal is when you buy the teal color and golden. Not the cobalt teal, but the regular teal. That's what it's in it. Cobalt. It's phthalo blue, phthalo green, and white. Very easy to mix. Or the darker color teal that I'm using here is the phthalo blue, phthalo green, and a little bit of burnt sienna. This one was. I used some burnt umber too, or just those two together, plain, for a more bright teal. So turquoise. Phthalo turquoise that you can buy. That's, let me show you where it is. Or this color here, that's just phthalo blue, phthalo green. That's it. It's probably phthalo green blue shade. Phthalo blue green shade, phthalo green blue shade. So, but you can still get just, a similar color, or basically the same color by just adding a little bit more blue than the phthalo green yellow shade. Yellow shade and blue shade are just phthalo green, yellow shade, and blue shade are very similar. They're just, one's a little bit more yellow than the other, but you can still mix them basically the same way. You just add a little bit more yellow to one or a little bit more blue to the other to get them to balance out. So, okay. Hope that made sense.
Does somebody who is listening? Yes, I'm sure did. I mean, you get talking paint colors and it's
I know. You're like, blah, 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 paint. It's a lot of white noise. Blah, blah, blah. All right. So adding some brighter bits or darker bits, I should say, of chipped paint here just tapping and scripting, and really not any. This is very random, so I mean, unless you want to paint your paint chips in, which you can do, if you wanted to paint each individual paint chip exactly the way it's in the photograph, then you could do that. But this is a faster way of doing it, and it gives you kind of good results. It's a little bit more random, maybe, so you may a little bit more unpredictable. You may not get exactly the same look as you have on the reference photo, but it's close enough. I'm going to use a little bit of the bright turquoise here. Just go back in. But I think I'm pretty happy with that. The back of this chair actually doesn't have as much, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of muss it up so that it looks like it matches, because it feels like it's too clean. Let's muss it up. I'm going to make sure that this is dark where these attach. We already did it on these two. Just going to darken that up right there. Isn't that fun?
So somebody said that you lost me on the phthalo blue green shade, phthalo green yellow shade, phthalo green blue shade, phthalo blue white shade.
No.
And the kitchen sink.
Yep. There's two phthalo greens. It's phthalo green blue shade and phthalo green yellow shade. So one's a little more yellow. The yellow shade's got more yellow in it. Got the same base of phthalo green. It's just got a little bit more yellow tone. And then the phthalo green blue shade has a little bit more blue. And it's kind of more turquoisey colored. So if you're mixing with the turquoise, making a turquoise, you might need a little bit more of the blue, phthalo blue, with your phthalo green yellow shade than you would if you were mixing turquoise with phthalo green blue shade, which is already a little bit more blue. So that's all I'm saying. Your phthalo green blue shade, which I'm not using, which is over here. Come on. This one here. Well, I'll show it to you here. You can see the difference on the chart. It's easier. Phthalo green blue shade is here. Phthalo green yellow shade is here. So you can see how much more yellow this one is than this one. But they're still basically the same color under, in some ways, the phthalo green is going to mix very similarly. So I can make this color by mixing, if you only have the phthalo green blue shade, just add some yellow to it. You're going to make this color right here. If you've got this color and you want to make this color, you just add some blue to it, phthalo blue, and you're going to get a color that's similar to this. If we want to make the turquoise that is right here, turquoise phthalo, then you use the phthalo green, phthalo blue with one of these two colors. Phthalo green, one of these two phthalo greens. So if you have the phthalo green, you can make the turquoise. As long as you have a phthalo blue and a phthalo green, one of these two, you're going to be able to make the turquoise. So what I'm saying, so you'll need these two. We'll make it close. If you do probably 50-50 or something close to that, you'll get this. If you're doing these two colors, then you may need to use a little bit more blue to get this. Does that make sense? Oops.
Yes.
Okay.
And phthalo is short for phthalocyanine.
Yeah, I don't want to try to say that. All right. So probably need just a few little highlights on my chair, because I feel like it's a little bit dark compared to the reference photo. So I'm going to get a little bit of white. I'm going to use my number 4 bright. Get a little bit of white, so just a little bit whiter. You can tell, what color we've been already using there. It's just a little bit brighter white. And I'm just going to kind of skim that on there and add just a little bit of brighter white highlight. It's just in a few areas. It doesn't have to be all over. But just some of these chairs. sections here. I feel like I could use some brighter bits. Go around the... See how that's kind of bringing out those other colors. Especially like right on top of here. So this area, both facing up, catching more light. We can this part is also catching more light, so I can do a little bit more there, a little bit more up here. Let me get a little bit of the turquoise or cobalt teal and just blend that in a little bit. Blending it in. And then I'm going to get a little bit of this phthalo blue, phthalo green, turquoise. Like most of it, I'm going to go right up underneath this. Just do a slight, very thin kind of shadow underneath that chair edge. Okay, let's do, already got it kind of here. Anywhere else that I feel like it needs a little bit more shadow, maybe a little bit on here. There's a neighbor with this truck.
I think it's his Mustang.
Oh,
he's finally getting it out now that the roads are clearing off. Do you?
Okay. I don't want to do too much of the highlight down here because this is our shadow side, so I'm going to get some of that cobalt teal. I just wanted to break up that solid color that was there. What were you going to say, Hen?
Something really stupid, so I won't say it.
Okay. Good idea. I support that decision.
Making good choices.
Make good choices. You made somebody really mad by posting a picture of Bernie in our group that one day. I mean, somebody was really mad about it. He posted a picture of Bernie in the mittens for the group. Like, seriously, it was a joke. It was a joke. We are like the least political people.
There's things that happen where I go, why did I not think of that?
Uh-huh.
And somebody posted a meme of a snow-covered road.
Uh-huh.
And they put 3 of those Bernie pictures on there.
Uh-huh.
It says it's okay, the Sanders are out.
Yeah, you're like, why did I not think of that? Yeah.
I could have made that meme.
Genius. It's hilarious.
So, in all seriousness, though, so phthalo is short for phthalocyanine.
Mm-hmm.
And according to the dictionary, it is a bright greenish blue crystalline compound.
Ooh.
So it's a man-made compound.
Right. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of purple to this. I added burnt umber to my green and add just a little bit of purple. Purple really makes that green sing. It's a great color to make a dark green. purple. It's not, it's kind of, you wouldn't really expect it to work, but it really does work really well as a dark color with your green. So I'm going to start on my granary now.
We need to cut this show off because the leader of the Underground Paint Club has joined us.
Nathan, I saw your kitty. So cute. Is it a boy or girl? And
Hopefully
how's Snow doing?
Hopefully a boy named Thor, but we'll see.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Is Snow still speaking to you? She's his other kitty. Oh, shoot. I was going to do something with the background. Well, no. Too late. Too late. I just remembered.
And the leader of the Underground said that it was he that was so upset.
It was who?
It was him that was so upset.
Oh, really?
By the Bernie picture.
By the what? Bernie? Oh, is you were posing as a grandma in my group. I see.
Kind of like the people down in Florida getting their shots.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, people. Seriously.
That's sad. Yeah. I want my shots as much as the next person, but I'm willing to take my turn. I don't need to cheat the system by dressing up as a grandma. All right. Which I am a grandma, so I don't know how that would look.
And my beard gave it away, so.
I'm sorry. That's good.
Like, you could tweeze that, you know.
Oh my gosh. Ugh. Yeah, I got pretty lazy about tweezing when I was wearing my masks, and then we had people over, and I realized I had not done my chin hairs in a long time. It was just I think this was Thanksgiving, and yeah, it was scary. It's like, why didn't you say something, honey? Nobody said anything. They were being so nice, but man, I definitely looked like I needed a shave. All right, so I've mixed up some yellow with my green now. I added it to this one, but it was still a little too neutral. That purple kind of counteracted the yellow and made it more brown. I wanted a little bit brighter, so I went ahead and just used the yellow oxide and cadmium yellow medium here with my phthalo green over here. And I still had a little bit of this color in it, so it kind of affected it slightly, but not as much. And I'm just going to go through here and just dab and dot some little leaf shapes. I'm not being too precious with this, just kind of tapping. And this stiff bristle brush really does a good job for these kind of foliage type leaves. Just kind of setting it down and kind of sometimes just sort of pulling it a little bit like that, you know, to create a little bit of movement with it, but for the most part I'm just kind of tapping. And I want to make sure that I don't lose all this really dark color here, though. I want to cover up that chair, so I'm going to go back in and make sure I do really dark coverage right in there. Okay. Wipe that off. Get some more of this. Bring it up. And this is going to go all the way up here. So I'm going to go ahead and just do some like small leafy things it's like stems by just kind of dragging my brush through. It's going to create like a little stick leafies. Stems. That's the word I'm looking for. Stick leafies or stems. Either way you want to call it. Sorry.
I am writing that down next to armholes.
Oh, God.
2021 stick
Equal stem.
Is that IES or Y apostrophe S?
IE.
Okay.
For sure. Oh my god. I don't know why that's so funny. Cracking me up. Oh, jeez. Okay, I better. I'm not. If you're new to the channel, that was normal. That's pretty much what I do when I get in art brain. So just know that's.
Yeah, it was like this show when she's painting sleeves and she called them armholes.
Yeah.
So it just happens to anybody who's painting. They're not thinking
you try
right.
to talk and paint. I dare you. It's not easy. Your brain doesn't really function normally.
So that'll be a t-shirt, stick leafies.
Oh gosh. All right, so now just doing 3 tones of green: dark, medium, and now bright. And adding a little bit of white and a little bit more yellow. If you add yellow to when you add white, it will brighten it. If you just add white, it dulls the green a little bit. So you can do either or. But I want this to be a little bit brighter, so I'm just going to add a little bit of yellow, and that will keep my green brighter. And I don't want to do too much of this because I still have to do my flowers, so I don't want to fill this up with green. You know, I do want all this green to be in and around my flowers, but I do want to leave some room for my flowers to go. So here's doing more stick leafies. God. It's almost as probably as, I don't know, I think that overtakes the armholes for my favorite now. Art brainism.
So you're just going right there, huh?
Okay. I'm make some movement. I might bring this out just a little bit more, just so that these aren't the same. In the photograph, they're kind of clumped up together, which actually it's fine. I mean, it's a good composition, but I feel like we might be able to get a little bit more movement out of it if I bring this out just a little bit more. So I think I'm going to bring it down just slightly over here. Get some of this medium color here. There we go. Okay. We'll see if that was a good idea or not. Get some purring going on over there. Nathan never did say if Snow's happy or not.
Yeah, he said something. Hold on, I have to go back. Okay. He says that Snow is great, actually, and Maggie and he are watching and enjoying.
Oh.
Hopes that all is well as here.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that makes sense because she was from that shelter that she was around all those other cats, so it's probably, she probably likes being around other kitties.
Our cat, on the other hand.
No.
Yes,
No.
You.
She won't speak to me, even still, now that we got the dog. She barely tolerates me anymore. It's like she knows that I'm the one that wanted a dog. Okay, so there's our greenery. Might bring some of it out this way. Actually, I think I need to probably bring some out more this way. Let me do that really quick because I think it fills in a little bit more in through here. Okay. There we go. Fun, fun, fun. Let's do this. All right, so I'm trying to decide how I want to do my flowers. I've got a couple different brushes here that I can use for them. I'll show you the brush strokes. You decide which brush you have that you want to use. So I've got a small round, kind of a medium, larger round, a filbert, and a angle brush. So any of these brushes will work for the petals for my flower. Let me get my thing out here. We'll practice it and see which one we like the best. I'm going to let this green dry. It'll give us time for that green to dry while we're doing that. Okay, so let's start with the filbert. Filbert is usually my go-to brush for flower petals. I'm going to use the red because it'll show the brushes the better. Or the
It is not my go-to nut, though.
what?
It is not my go-to nut, though.
Filbert, no. Not
No.
go-to brush for flowers, but not nuts. Correct. Check. All right. So this is a 4 filbert, and I've loaded it flat. It's fairly thick with paint, but I want to make sure that it comes to a straight point. Okay. So there, coming together. I'm going to use that edge, set my brush down, and pull. But the only thing is with this is after I've done this a few times, those brushes, the bristles start to want to separate. So I have to kind of reload and press them flat again. So press down. You're going to have to hesitate just a little bit to press down, let those bristles flare out a little bit before pulling them towards the center. Okay, so there's my filbert. Good, but maybe slow. Here's my large round. This is the one I suspect I want to use. We'll see. Or maybe I should save it for the end. Cause more drama. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to load it, spin it, but load it fairly thick with paint. So I'm spinning it to a point, but I've got kind of a good amount of paint on here. Just like that, right there. All right, so setting it down, letting it spread. No, see, I can already tell this one's not going to work. Because see how it's not spreading out enough? On me, this brush is too stiff. I could do it this way. I could do it from the outside this way. And that might be the better way of doing it. See? But no. Sorry. You disappointed me there. I thought you were going to do it, but...
Out in the first round. Who saw that coming?
I don't know. Okay, so this is the Aspen smaller round. So this is a smaller round brush. And this one might work. It's also going to give me a little bit of a pointy tips instead of rounded. So I really want the rounded. And I can do it this way. I can just set it down and plop it. I don't have as much control that way, though. It's a little sloppier. Okay, so no. Let's try the angle. I kind of think the angle might work, too. We'll see. Just depends on if I can get the rounded look. So I'm thinking if I pull it this way with the tip down, see that? It rounds out that angle. When I do that, I'm just going to have to keep turning it so that it is always facing towards the middle is all, which is fine. So that one worked pretty well. And I can load up a pretty good amount of paint on there. I don't have to reload it as often, but it may not be. No, I can go pretty fast with it. So I might use the angle. See that? All right. So that's closest to that one that we've got so far. And then I've got the number 1 round, which is a little bit softer brush. So this one was the stiffer bristled round. And this is the softer bristled round. And I'm going to be using a paint that's not as thick as this. So, see how nicely that does? So the softer bristles just make it a little bit easier with this, especially with what, I don't know, I really need to be turning this. I'm having a hard time when I'm getting over here to get that. So I think either one of these is going to work, and I think I might. I'm trying to see how fast I can do it. See, if I do it fast, then it's getting these pointed tips. Okay. But you get the idea. Here's our lace curtain flower painting that we're working on my $10 level. We're almost done. Got one more week. I'm going to put red tulips in the window here in a glass vase. So, but we did our curtains this week. Turned out pretty good. And we did the window part too. So that's hopefully finished up this
That's
Thursday.
the Thursday challenge.
Yeah.
For the $10 level Patreon people.
Definitely work in progress, so don't judge it. Yeah, it's not done. Don't sit on it, Cashmere. No, okay. Yeah, you want to sit on my painting? Oh, okay. I was just talking about how you never come over and say hi to me anymore. You gonna come over and be nice today? Well, come on over. Come on over, baby. She's thinking about it. Okay, let's paint this in and we'll be done. All right, so I think I'm going to go ahead and use the angle brush, and I'm going to clean off my palette. I do want to leave some of this purple here that's still wet. A little bit of it's still wet. And I want to scrape off the rest. All this turquoise stuff I don't need. What?
She just keeps coming back over here.
Cashmere does? Okay. There's my titanium white that is fluid. And I was thinking about doing gray first, but then I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to do them white, and then if we want to make them gray, we can glaze them later after they're dry. So that's the plan at least. All right, so I'm going to use the tip here and just do find some of these little bits here and do some very small little bits coming off of some of these sticky, what were they called? I can't remember.
Stick leafies.
Stick leafies. And they're not all going to be, all these flowers aren't going to all be perfectly centered and round, facing us. So you've got a circular flower. As it turns away from you, it starts to turn more oval. If it's, completely flat, it's actually, the bristles or the flower petals are actually going to look flat, so some of them are like this, maybe facing upward. We're only seeing just a little bit of the flower petals. So just going to every now and then do one that's really clear and facing me and take my time. Be like that. But then the rest of them, this makes it so much easier. This fluid white, I'm telling you, don't do it with the heavy body acrylics. It's going to take twice as long. This is the way to go for sure. If you've got it, if you've got a fluid white. I would say if you get two colors that are in the fluid acrylics, I would get white and black. And with those, those are pretty much all I need, most of the times. And then occasionally I use a brown or another color, but for tree branches and things, it can be helpful to have a fluid acrylic for those. But for the most part, I just use the heavy body acrylics. pretty that is. And it actually looks kind of shaded because of the thinner, see towards the center where I'm lifting, it's actually not laying down as much paint. And so it's kind of looking lighter or darker in those areas. So I don't think we're going to actually need to do the shadow. I think this is kind of already doing it for us.
I want to say thank you to everybody who shops with our sponsors.
Yes.
And our affiliates.
Yes.
Thank you so much for all the support that way.
Yes, we sold a lot of brushes with the brush guys at Christmas time. A lot of them. Probably twice as much we normally sell. So I think it was those intermediate sets that they were selling. So we appreciate you guys using their affiliate links down in the description. We've got Amazon links, Blick links, Brush Guys, all kinds of different places to get supplies. It doesn't charge us charge you anything more to use our links, but it helps support our channel. We get just a tiny little percentage of the sale.
Right, and with the Brush Guys, there's a code, Angela Fine Art, all one word.
Yes.
You get an additional 5% off the already low prices.
Yes, and that's the only way they know that you came from our...
Right, buying through us. So
Yeah, if you don't use the
so
link,
save
you don't
money and help Angela out.
know.
It's a
Sure, why not?
win-win.
There you go. Yeah, if you can't afford a Patreon, that's a good way to do it. You're already going to be buying stuff.
So now,
If you're like me and need all the colors.
so now we got to start thinking up excuses for people to get brushes as gifts. Because Christmas is over, Valentine's is over.
True.
We got a long haul, so we got anniversaries and birthdays.
Yeah, right.
So
I think what President's Day was this week, or last week. So we could
I'm sure there's some international holidays that we're unaware of.
Yeah, we need to kind of start celebrating the National Day of Pickles or whatever, different.
And so, yes, the palette is the New Wave Posh Glass palette, and that's in the Amazon store. So you click the link down below the video and go there, you'll see it. There's different sizes.
Yeah, this one is I think the largest size.
Yeah, that's like 12 by 16 or 16
it goes
by 18
all the way
or something.
back here. I don't use that half because I can't get it all on camera. So, all right, I'm going to separate these out just a little bit more than is in the photograph. If you look in the photograph, there's like masses of white. They're all overlapping. So I'm going to separate out these just a little bit more than what it is in the photograph, just so that I don't get too much crowding, because I am using just one color of white, and I don't want them to get lost in amongst each other. If that makes sense.
So somebody said we got Easter coming up, so
There you go.
a great adult Easter basket would be filled with brushes and paints and things like that.
There you go.
Or chocolate if you're me.
Oh my gosh, it cracked me up. We watched Saturday Night Live the other day, and they showed the mom Christmas morning mom robe, getting a robe, and everybody was showing.
I am turning off your mic right now.
I got this in my stocking. I got that in my stocking, and the mom gets to her stocking, and my stocking's flat. It's just hanging here empty. It looks really sad. And I was like, yes, thank you. Hello.
Christmas 2019, true story.
True story. I mean, and the sad thing is, I pulled it down and was holding it in my lap and everything. I was so ready to see what was in my stocking, and there was nothing in there. Mark dropped the ball on that one here. Yep.
That Santa doesn't know what he's doing.
No. We haven't done Easter baskets for each other in years. I used to do them even when the boys were older. I did them. But we haven't done Easter baskets in a while. It would be fun. I don't think you're ever too old for Easter baskets and stockings and stuff. Right. But I am thinking about painting. I've got an Easter bunny painting that I kind of thinking might do. So let me know if you're into doing something for Easter in the comments.
Who's knocking on my door?
Fitzy, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, this dog loves the snow. Hi, buddy. Hi, what you doing? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hi. I know. You can hear his tail wagging. Okay. Watch out.
Go ahead, continue your story.
I was just saying that he loves the snow. We've been having trouble getting him to come in from the snow. He caught himself a squirrel and a bird because they're... Yeah, so he's been having fun out there. He didn't actually kill the squirrel, thankfully. It got away, but he tackled it pretty good. Probably didn't feel very good afterwards. And I haven't seen it back by the feeder again, so I don't think it's coming back around our house anytime soon. There's a lot of these flowers. I'm taking my time, but you can go faster if you want to. I might speed it up just a little bit here. Yeah, no, he, bad doggy. I think he was a sled dog in his previous life. Mark's trying to convince me that he can pull Spencer on the thing, but I don't think he can.
Well, not anymore. The roads were snow-packed, icy, and so, yes, on a sled he would have been able to easily pull.
I don't think so.
Somebody on a sled.
No.
It may or may not have happened while you were sleeping. I don't know.
I'm sure he would have loved it, but... Okay.
So, I mean, it was interesting. So even after 30 some odd years of painting and hundreds of tutorials, you still took out your practice pad and tried different brushes and tried different techniques to see which one was going to come out best.
Sure, yeah.
So it's not a knock on your skills or anything like that to practice.
Absolutely not.
You know, even people like LeBron James, they still practice.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, painting's not a exact science. It's, it depends on the brush and the humidity and the paints and all that. There's a lot of different factors that go into it, and there can be different results. Every time I paint, it's going to be a little bit different. I might be in a mood that day and really be pressing down harder on my brushes than the day before or something. So, yeah. That's why I encourage people who are beginning to paint not to worry so much about the actual results right away. Like, I know that sounds frustrating, but I mean, it's when you're learning to, do anything, you're not going to be perfect at it at first. So I'm trying to give you projects that can build on success after success. And so, I feel like, starting with the beginner series that we've been doing and, working up towards the more difficult paintings. This one's probably pretty easy I don't think this one's very hard. I really do think this one could have been probably part of our beginner series. But I feel like these doing the easier projects first, and then working your way towards the more difficult projects will give you practice, like Mark was saying. It'll just kind of build on your muscle memory, and you'll have kind of figured out how to use a brush, how to load it, how to, do just kind of some basic techniques with the paint, and then you'll have an easier time of it when you try to do some of the more difficult paintings. So I'd say start easy. Don't start on the super hard paintings, because then you'll get frustrated if you can't do them, and then leave me mean comments. And like it never says in the title. If my title doesn't say easy or beginner, then it's not. It's probably not one you want to do on your first try. And especially, you can also tell by how long it takes me. So if it takes me 3 or 4 hours to do it, it's going to take you probably twice that long, and be one of my more difficult paintings. So that's another good indication of how difficult the painting's going to be. All right, so I'm going to leave some of this greenery in here. I'm doing a good job today. You didn't mention it, but see, I'm not covering it all with.
You're doing great.
With flowers today.
It looks good.
Thanks.
And the painting is not too bad either. It's required by.
I'm a sucker for.
That's required by contract.
Yeah, no. He's required to say that every time. All right, I'm gonna do some of this green here, and some burnt sienna to it. It's kind of a yellow green, brownish green. Yellow, I don't know, poop green here, kind of color. It's kind of a poop color. We're gonna use this as the shadow color in our daisy centers. So there's kind of a dark color. Let me see. Maybe I think I want it a little bit more bright yellow. So I'm going to use a little bit of the yellow and the burnt sienna. A little bit more orange, I think. Let's see. See if I can get that off. Okay. And I would suggest going ahead and letting all that white dry first before you do this, in case you do have to wipe off any of these centers. Then you'll be able to wipe them off without taking off any of your paint. And then these ones that are facing away from you, where you've got the circle, and if they're oval, then the center goes oval too. So if you've got a circular center, it's also going to go oval. So make sure that you do the centers of these that are more flattened, more of an oval shape than the round. And then the ones that are kind of all in a circle, you can do straight circle. Makes sense?
Straight circles, yeah, I learned about those in geometry.
It's these little centers that they put in the flower, in the tea, that cause me problems. It's a little chamomile. They dry. They look like little yellow balls.
There's none of that in my coffee, so
No.
You should have some.
No, thank you. No bueno. All right. And there are definitely fewer flowers here than in the reference photo, but I think it works. I kind of like it better. I think it's a little bit more controlled. Okay, there we go. And some of these ones that are, facing down or facing up, and you may not see the center of them, so I wouldn't worry about doing those. And I mean, there are some that are kind of tucked back in here, so what we could do is get a little bit of blue and brown, burnt umber, and ultramarine blue. Oops, that was Phthalo blue. Let's get the ultramarine blue. And brown and white. And you could do some flowers with a little bit of gray. Let me see if I want to do this or not. So you could do like just a few little flowers that are sort of tucked back in there, that see how they look like they're kind of shadowed. You do them dark enough, in a dark enough gray, that they are kind of hidden back here. I think that works. Actually, I kind of feel like I needed a little bit of okay. So we just got a few like phantom flowers back there, and then we'll use a little bit of the darker green for the centers in those. Okay.
Phantom of the flowers?
It just softens everything up just a little bit. And then to do the finished on the flowers, I'm going to get my bright yellow here. If I can get some that's not dried out. That middle area stays kind of wet. If you pull from the one side here, I've said this before, but if you're new to it, you may not know this. But the outer part of your paints will, I've sprayed these as I go, but they're still going to dry out even though I'm spraying them. They're going to dry out a little bit. But if I don't disturb this backside of the paint here and only pull from this front side of it underneath here, if I pull that dry part off, all of this inside here has been protected from the air, and it's going to be soft and moist still and usable. So that's what I was pulling out of that yellow there. It's kind of the soft bits. This is the dried bits that was on the outside of it. But this stuff right here is still workable. I'm just going to get some fresh paint though, because it'll just make it easier to work with. And if you have some fluid paint, you can use that. I don't have it handy. I need to get my fluid paints out closer to me so I can use them more often. Tucked away in the corner there. I can't get to them while I'm painting, unless I set them out ahead of time. All right, so I'm going to use this and just tap in a circle around what I've got here. Leave the center open. And you don't have to do the circle in all of them. Some of them, that are kind of oval, you may just only see, a little bit of this color and not see the full circle all the way around. So don't worry. But these smaller ones, I would just kind of dab in some color and not worry about going around in a circle. But the bigger ones like this that you really can see that are obvious, I would, take the time to do that, leave that center open. See that? And simplify it, just dab, if you want to just simplify it, you can just dab it and go. Don't worry about going in a circle. So, your level of patience and what you want to do with yours is totally up to you. I'm going to get a little bit of the yellow there. I don't want too much because I don't want it to really pull those dark ones up into the light too much. But how pretty that is. And if it doesn't cover well enough, you can add a little bit of white to this yellow. So if your yellow is not the cadmium's pretty opaque, so they cover up other colors fairly well. But all yellows are kind of transparent. They don't cover very well other colors, so you may have to add a little bit of white to this to get it to cover, which is totally fine. All right, there we go. Pretty. Go ahead and zoom out there and let's see if we want to add in a little bit more of the, I think I'm going to add just a little bit of that turquoise over here. Just slight in a couple places. I mean, we've got enough of it that, you know, it looks pretty good, but why not, right? I'm going to get the Cobalt Teal, and let's get some of this fluid white and add that to it. Maybe even some of this gray that we had. There we go. Got a hair in there. Get that out there. Got a hair stuck to it.
Someday they could clone you from your painting.
I know.
That would be pretty cool, huh?
Got some. I noticed that I heard that they're cloning extinct animals.
And expired
animals. That too.
It's an expert.
They cloned a ferret that was, and a Mongolian horse that was both extinct.
So they can clone a YouTube painter.
There you go. I don't know why they would want to, but one's enough. One is plenty. All right, I'm gonna dab that off. I didn't like that. One's a little bit too much, but I like the turquoise. You can leave it off, or you can add more. If you want it to be a little bit less purple, you can just add more brown to your color when you do your background there, or you could even do the same color as the yellow chair. So if you wanted to have them match a little bit more, if you're doing a set and you want them to kind of go together a little bit better, you could just use the same grays as we used in this background here and do just the blue chair on top of this gray background too. So that's another option. Totally up to you what you do with your painting. But yeah, I think I like the colors in this one. The purple is really pretty. All right, thanks guys. Let me sign this and we'll call it quits for today.
Alrighty, we had a super chat today. The super chat was from Roxy, and there was no special message with it, but she had a really athletic avocado looking
Nice
emoji giving the thumbs up.
I like it. Buff avocado.
There you go.
Very good.
So thank you very much, Roxy. We appreciate
you, Roxy. It's awesome.
I get to use the cowbell.
Yeah, Mark's Day. It's not the same if he doesn't get to do the cowbell. At least once a show. And the disco lights too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there we go. Just using a small brush to sign it here. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And subscribe, come back. We'll be doing this. We do these videos twice a week usually, as long as there's no snowstorms stopping us. But yeah, we'd love to have you join us. And we will be painting. What are we painting on Tuesday? We don't even know. I can't see.
You
see my thing here.
Are painting a painting.
I'm painting.
beginner's
Oh, we're going to do a
scissors.
really fun one. We're going to do a really impressionist style. And impressionist just means that you use kind of softer, more fluid brush strokes, a very painterly style. And we're going to be doing some flowers in a vase with that style. So it's going to be even more loose than this that we did today. This is, I would say, not really impressionist. This is more realistic. You would take the Patreon thing off there. So we're doing it really soft and, think like big brush strokes. And yeah, that's what we're going to be doing with the flowers. So I'm not explaining it very well. I'm tired. So.
So anyways, patreon.com/AndrewFineArt traceables.
Yes, we'll have a traceable available for this. We have a traceable already up for the lions that we're doing tomorrow. So if we're doing a lion and mama for the $5 level. So if you want to join us for that, you can. We're doing a live show at 2 p.m. Mm-hmm. And then, we've got our regular videos coming this week. We've got our March schedule should be out here in a couple days. So next Saturday we're painting penguins. So that should be fun. So hopefully you come back for that if you miss our Tuesday video. But all of our schedule is down. If you click on my name or my photo, it'll take you to my channel homepage and you can see all the videos we have to offer and all of the upcoming schedule and things like that. So, all right.
We hope that you like, subscribe.
Yes.
Do all that good stuff.
Yes, please. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.